Sir, I didn't ask you about. I didn't ask you about any of that. I asked you if you understand.
I will, however.
Mr. Matson, don't interrupt me. I've muted Mr. Matson's device because he continues to interrupt me and not let me finish what I'm saying.
Let me speak to.
I've muted Mr. Matson again because he unmuted himself and interrupted.
Today's hearing gets chaotic fast. We've got a sovereign citizen who just won't stop talking, seriously. It's nonstop. He's in court for skipping out on his probation officer. And now he's trying to talk his way out with arguments that make no legal sense. But the judge shuts it down instantly. It's one of those moments that's oddly satisfying to watch. Let me know in the comments, how should courts handle these sovereign citizen claims? And if you're into courtroom breakdowns like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's jump in.
I am required to advise you at all stages of the proceeding that you do have a right to be represented by an attorney, and if you can't afford an attorney, the court will appoint one for you at public expense. Do you understand that?
I don't think you'd be violating your oath of office, Your Honor, by allowing me to the right to a fighting clause.
Sir, I didn't ask you about any of that. I asked you if you understand.
However,
Mr. Matson, don't interrupt me. The question I asked you is whether you understand that you have the right to be represented by an attorney.
I do understand I have a right to be represented by an attorney or not. Yes, sir.
Okay. You've previously waived that right. As I said, I have to advise you that at every stage of the hearing. So I have to ask you again, would you like to be represented by an attorney at this point?
As I started to say, Your Honor, I don't want the representation. However, I will use the help of handling paperwork due to my means here and having access to certain things in paperwork. I will use your court-appointed attorneys just to help with some paperwork.
Okay, so you don't have a right to have the public defender's office do your paperwork or handle any of that. You have the right to have them represent you or not represent you. So that is your choice.
Not represent me, that's fine then.
All right. So you've previously been arraigned on the probation violation. Do you know how you want to proceed? So your options are you can plead to it if you want, which means you'd be admitting guilt. The other option is that I can set it for a hearing and we can have a hearing on the matter, and then I'll decide based on the evidence submitted at that hearing.
Your Honor, all due respect, I wish, are you working under oath of office today, sir?
Sir, I'm not going to answer these questions or deal with this. We've dealt with you before, and your sovereign citizen arguments, I've rejected them all.
Citizen.
Sir, do not interrupt me. Do you want to have a hearing or do you want to plead?
I'll take your silence under your oath, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you want to have a hearing or do you want to plead?
I want the hearing. I want to go to trial. I want to go within 90 days to a trial or sooner.
All right. So Sierra will need about a 1 hour hearing on a probation violation.
As well as I'd like you to have the arresting officers that arrested me on that day. I would like their sergeant to be dressed in uniform and at that trial on that day as well.
Zoom court always brings some surprises, and this guy's a prime example. He keeps interrupting, talking over the judge. It clearly doesn't get how court works. He even says he needs a lawyer just for paperwork, which isn't what lawyers do. And then he randomly asks for a sergeant to join the hearing. At this point, it's hard to tell if he's confused or just stalling. Either way, the judge handled it with more patience than most would. Let's get back into it.
All right. I think it will go more smoothly if you are here in person, so we will have you in person here from the jail.
All right, exactly what the hearing is going to be on that day.
So you've been charged with a violation of the terms of your probation.
Yeah.
For failing to report. So the hearing is going to be to determine whether or not you failed to report.
Okay, so it's going to be the trial that day.
Correct.
Okay, can I have the state police sergeant there at that trial?
What state police sergeant?
The state police sergeant of the arresting officers on the night of my arrest.
Who are the arresting officers?
I don't remember the exact names, but any state police sergeant in uniform would do.
Why do you want any state police sergeant to be present at the trial?
Just to show how arrests are made, and why they're made, and how they do the determination, how they bring people into jail.
Well, how is any of that relevant to whether or not you violated the terms of probation?
I believe there's a lot of relevancy there. I don't see where any of it's going to affect the courts in any way, shape, or form.
All right. So the issue that the court is going to determine has nothing to do with things that happened during your arrest. The issue is whether or not.
No, it's not about the arrest. It's about the arrest for the violation of probation as well.
All right. The only issue before the court that day is going to be whether or not you reported. So your arrest doesn't have any relevancy to that. So I'm not going to.
I beg to differ, Your Honor. I beg to differ because the jury is going to be a jury of my peers, and at this time,
sir,
you're not going to have a jury of my peers.
Sir, there's not going to be any jury. You're not entitled to a jury trial on a hearing about violating your probation.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I'm pretty sure that last time I spoke to you, you said that I had the right to a jury trial for determining if I was guilty for a violation of probation.
I've never seen you on this violation of probation.
I've seen you, or I've seen you just the other day, last week.
No, you didn't. A different judge conducted that hearing.
You're Michael Olsaver, aren't you? There was Judge Sloan, and then there was you. I've seen both of you.
You did not see me last week.
I did.
And so you're not entitled to a jury trial on a probation violation. So again, we will have you back in person on
hold up then. So if I'm not entitled to a trial to determine if I'm guilty or not, this is a criminal court, isn't it?
It's a criminal court where you have already pled guilty to a felony and been placed on probation.
Because I was at risk of dying in this.
I've muted Mr. Matson's device because he continues to interrupt me and not let me finish what I'm saying. Mr. Matson, I was saying that this is a criminal court wherein you have pled guilty to possessing a controlled substance, and you were placed on probation as a result of that. Your sentence was to be placed on probation. Subsequent to being sentenced to probation, there was an allegation that you failed to report in accordance with the terms of your probation. That is an alleged violation of probation. There's no right to a jury trial for a violation of probation, so the court will conduct. Let
me speak to.
I've muted Mr. Matson again because he unmuted himself and interrupted me. We will have you back on April 8th at 3:30, Mr. Matson. This hearing is concluded.
Let me know if you want part 2, because it somehow gets even weirder. He's now demanding a state sergeant at a probation hearing. Not even his arrest hearing at this point. It feels like he's just stalling. And honestly, Zoom court might be making it worse. Some people clearly need to be in person just to take it seriously. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoy breakdowns like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.